you're passionate for what you love and you're serious about it. When you see our cameras at the show, then we want to talk about it. Fair weather fans need not apply. We seek nerds that are true. Just beware not to piss us off. It's the one thing not to do. It's the Angrygeeks show. It's the Angrygeeks show.
And welcome to this week's episode of the Angrygeeks. You guys know who I am, and you know who she is. Go ahead, get your highs out of the way. Get your hellos, holla, get all that stuff out of the way. Get it out of the way now because we have Yes, we do have a Kevin. We have a very important guest backstage all the way from across the pond. Once again, Jamie, we are international. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
I know, and he even knows our good buddies from the Leicester Toy Shop. Well, he saw the show. I don't know if he knows them, but he saw the episode, which is pretty amazing to me. Yes, I know. And hi, Aviva. How are you?
Hi,
look at that.
Aviva.
Look at.
Hello, Nicole.
She said hi to me first once again.
She
not
always
you.
says hi to you first.
No, I don't recall. What's up, brother? How you doing, Hbo McNeil?
Oh, St. Thomas put my name first.
Yeah, because Thomas loves you more. And let's see, what is this? Oh, I see. Yes, it is WrestleMania week. Stay tuned for Faces and Heels. We got a big show right there. And
hi,
Dave Campbell, good evening. Look at Dave is always so regal. Good evening. Good evening. And I know. Even at a con. Lewis, hi, how are you? Good evening. And I know. I love Dave. Dave is an awesome guy. Anyway.
Yes, he is.
This guy.
Did you put up Jabo? Jabo said hi. You didn't put him up.
I did. I said hi, guys. I put it up. I said, hey, brother, how you doing?
Jabo.
Yes, he is. Oh, and Michael J is in the house. The Flash. Yes, he's in the house. Look at that. I'm rocking Aquaman tonight. We both have like these galaxy type things behind us.
Even the main banner thing is. We're so in tune. It's just weird.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, I haven't talked to you just through text every once in a while,
right?
And we are like,
and happy
so.
Easter, by the way. I didn't text you.
Yes, yeah, I text you, and you didn't even text me back.
I had to
go to work. You love me. You had to work yesterday.
Yes, I did.
And you still did your homework. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that your belly? Are you hungry? Did you eat, or is that the dog?
That would be Nero. Yes, Nero's chiming in.
And yes, I will be getting Jamie her Wonder Woman stuff at the end of the month. I was just talking to Jamie about this earlier.
Did you mail out the prize box?
And no, I'm going to drop it off myself because I got to go that way. So I figured I'd save a lot of money because I even put extra stuff in it for Corey. Yeah, I know you're mad at me. So's Rose because it's sitting over there. And that's probably why Corey's not watching right now. So without further ado, and there's Corey right there. Hi, Corey. I put more stuff in it.
Finger emoji.
I know. I put more stuff in it, and I have to go up that way at the end of the month. And I'm actually going to visit Jamie. So I was going to stop by somewhere around you and hand it to you in person and give it to you. No, not next year. Hold on. And Raymond is Raymond. Hey, Raymond,
hello,
the Mandalorian. Raymond. It's awesome. And Michael, we have a guest we have to get to. I love all you people. And Anne-Marie. Yes. Hello, Anne-Marie. Okay. And Alan. Howdy.
Hi,
okay.
Alan.
Can we get to our guest really quick? Because he's up super late.
He is up very late. Way past
anyway,
bedtime.
Way past Jamie, way past Lewis past time. Anyway, all the way from England, overseas, over the pond, screenwriter. He won awards for Best Original Screenplay, the one and only Joseph Burke.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Hi. Well, hello from England.
From England. What part of England?
So you probably don't know it. It's called Leeds.
I know Leeds. Yeah, Leeds. That's next to the other part. I know exactly where Leeds is.
It's the north of England. It's like our version of the South in America. We're like the working class kind of north sort of thing. Like
I feel like that's kind of what New Hampshire is too, actually. So
maybe so you know Sean Bean.
Yeah.
His normal accent is Yorkshire, and that's where I come from.
You kind of sound.
I
like
don't
him.
speak like that. He's like.
Yeah,
Anyway, but yeah, we're north of England.
North of England. Okay. All right. So, best original screenplay. How did it feel to win that?
Like incredible. Like it was I started as a playwright, so my undergraduate degree is in drama, and it started as a play that I wrote in 24 hours. And it hasn't really changed from that. It was like a challenge that I did with some friends. And then some guy saw it as a play and said, I want to put this on as a film. So I was like, okay, of course, like if you want to. And then he submitted it to all these film festivals. And then I just got an email one day that said, best original screenplay. So it's like, it's a bit surreal, to be honest. And thankfully, my missus is keeping me down to earth. Because I was on another podcast last week, and they promoted it by putting award-winning screenwriter. So now, the past week, she's only called me award-winning screenwriter. So she takes the mickey out of me a lot.
I said it too.
Yeah.
I put it down. I said, we are live with award-winning screenwriter. So
she said, imagine if I won an Oscar, how unbearable would I be? And I was like, I don't think I'd need to worry about that yet, but we'll see.
Oh, that's the key word, yet. Yeah. So what was the story? What was the story about, and how was it to see your creation made and put on the screen?
So it was about a young girl who her father doesn't approve of her lifestyle choice, basically. And I don't want to give away the kind of ending because it is hopefully going to be available soon. It's currently doing the festival tour, so it can't be. A lot of the festivals don't like you to have shown it before they have. But essentially, it's called Family Misfortunes because I think the pun might not necessarily transfer over to the US because I think it's Family Feud that you call it, but our version is Family Fortunes. So there is a little bit of a kind of pun there. And it's just like a kind of normal drama with these three characters and how the father kind of reacts to the child. And again, I don't want to give too much away, but it's just about their relationship, really.
Okay, how did you get into writing? I mean, what was your what? Oh my God, I can't find my words.
Your words?
My inspiration.
Your inspiration. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, it's like I got hit in the head.
Well, I started out as a performer. I've been a performer ever since I was probably born. There's been there's kind of, if I ever get quote unquote famous, there are far too many home videos that my family have of me as a young child singing into hairbrushes and things. So it's always been, I like telling stories, and just movies have always attracted me. Like costume and stuff. Like I loved seeing your Wonder Woman because I've done a little bit of cosplay because it's very similar to acting. Weirdly, being English, I was Harry Potter because growing up as a kid, in England with dark hair and glasses. Everyone just calls you Harry Potter, so I thought, oh, I might as well dress up like him. So yes, I've been to a few Comic Cons and stuff. So anything like that where it's telling a story. So that's why I did drama at university, and now because the world is on lockdown, I'm not able to do plays or anything kind of. So I just wrote a script like last year, and looked onto a master's in screenwriting, which I'm now doing, and I've gone from not writing anything to in the past 4 months I've written maybe 7 or 8 different scripts.
Oh wow!
Just because they just say just write as much as you can, because a lot of it is going to be bad, and that's what people struggle with, is that you have to get through the bad to get to the good, and people just stress about getting it right rather than just getting it out on paper. But yeah, so I've done a lot, and you work out the ones that, like, I'm writing one at the minute that I'm halfway through and I go, this is utter garbage, but at least I know what is wrong now. So like I go, right, I won't write that one again.
All right, we have a question. Jamie, you want to read it?
Yeah, Nicole says, if you could interview any screenwriter or director, who would it be, and what are the top 2 questions you'd ask?
Oh, wow. It's going to be really cliche because he's probably the one that everyone wants. But Charlie Kaufman, who wrote Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. And I think probably I'd only ask one question and just be like, what the hell is inside your head? To be like, what is wrong with you? To be able to come up with things like that. His most recent, I'm thinking of ending things. I just don't get how someone comes, like, I struggle with a normal story, let alone something that just boggles the mind. But yeah, he's the one that I'd speak to. Or I'd arrange him some kind of therapy or something to help him.
And we have another question. Hbo McNeil says, what do you find the hardest thing about writing a screenplay?
I think just getting out of your own head, just anything creative where you've got to do something that you love, you're always going to be your own worst enemy. And it's always going to be fighting that kind of, a lot of people call it imposter syndrome, where you just think, like, I might have won technically an award, I'm doing a master's, but every time I sit down at my computer, I go, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is just kind of like, I'm just writing words now. And there's like a lot of like the podcast that I've just started with my screenwriting friends. We all feel the same thing. And it's just, we're just constantly messaging each other going, I have no idea what I'm doing. But then, because nobody does, realistically.
I was going to say, I think that's all of us all the time.
Yeah, so you just have to kind of keep going and go, right, you're going to do it anyway because you love it. Right. And you don't need to kind of, well, when I was younger, everything just had to be perfect, and then it meant I didn't do anything. So now I've kind of grown up a bit and gone, well, I can't work in a call center all my life. Like I want to push forward. So you just have to kind of do it.
Okay. Jamie?
Yeah, so Nicole has another question. She said, as someone with a background in drama, what's your favorite Shakespeare play and why?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. I'd probably say Hamlet, just because it is really depressing, and I will admit that. But a lot of the things that it talks about are universal, and it's the idea of if you were in that situation and your father had passed away. I mean, obviously the ghost is a bit weird, but if your father had passed away and your uncle got with your mother, you would be going through some stuff as well, like regardless of what the situation is. So it's kind of, that's what's so great about Shakespeare, is you can relate them to modern life. And there's, I think you might be able to get it in the States. There's a David Tennant version where he played Hamlet, and Sir Patrick Stewart was the father, and that is just unbelievably good. Like, he is, I mean, especially as Doctor Who, but like that is like an acting masterclass. But yeah, Hamlet's probably the one that I think most.
All right, Jamie, read Joe's, and I'll take care of the next one.
Joe, how hard is it to get the screenplay to a manageable length? My first screen was 140 pages.
Wow, yeah, 140 pages is a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think my tutor helps me with this, because he just my first feature was 120 pages, and he read the treatment. He didn't even read the whole screenplay, and he knew just from my treatment that it didn't need to be 120 pages, and said you can get it down to 90. And I was really mad, because I was like, well, there's loads of stuff there that like he obviously doesn't know about, and he doesn't understand. He's not really read it, and you kind of go against it. And then, because it's been the Easter holidays this weekend, so we've got like a long bank holiday, I took the time to sit and cut all the stuff that didn't really make sense, or kind of trim it. And I got it down to 88 pages in a day. And I was cursing him, because I was like, God, I hate it when he's right. Because now I have to go back to him. But I think the biggest thing is the phrase "kill your darlings," where there might be something that you love, and that's wonderful, but you have to get rid of it. You have to look at it objectively. And the biggest thing for me is time. Like, some people go, they've written a screenplay, and then a week after they're looking at editing it. You haven't had enough time away from it to get that perspective, to be able to see, okay, does that work? Get people to read it. If people are like looking for feedback and stuff, feel free to send out my Twitter handle and stuff. I can read stuff. I can give an outside point of view, even if it's someone who doesn't. I get people that have never studied screenwriting to read my screenplays, because I go, can you imagine this, just by reading it? Because if they can, then you're probably on the right track. If they're struggling to understand what's happening, then maybe you need to add a bit more depth. So just get people to read it, because especially because it's something that you love, it's really hard to see past all of the flaws, because you love it so much. So get other people to read it, and just cut as much as you can. Like, just cut, because you can always add it back in if then you read it back and you go, oh no, that probably does make sense.
Okay. This next question, I'm not sure who it's for. It's from Tony Tone. It says, why haven't we had a decent Superman movie since the 1970s? I'm pretty sure it's for me. Tony, I thought The Man of Steel was fabulous. And any of the animated Superman movies are fantastic. I would recommend that you check out some of the animated ones, especially Man of Tomorrow. Absolutely phenomenal. Lobo is in it. Check that out. I did do a full review of that, I believe, while Jamie was on hiatus of the show. Just check back on our earlier episodes and you can watch my review on that. So that is an animated feature of Superman called The Man of Tomorrow. As far as Superman movies, The Man of Steel, man, they knocked it out of the park there. I think they did it justice. Henry Cavill is this generation Superman. Even though Christopher Reeve will be my Superman, Henry is my number 2. So I'm going to take that question. Michael John comes up with a question next. And he says, if you could write for a character, what character would it be and why?
Oof. That's probably the toughest question I've ever had. Could write for a character. I mean, the automatic answer is probably what everyone in our kind of field would say, but you just gotta be the Joker, isn't it? Because he is just so archetypal, and they've proved time and time again that you can have many iterations of them. Whether you like that version or not is up to you, but there are so many, like, he's just a force of nature, and it's just gotta be the Joker, because I think I remember the first time I ever saw anything of the Joker, and it just blew my mind. That I think it was Jack Nicholson's Joker in 1989. I was just born then, but the first time my dad showed me Batman, that it just blew me away.
Okay, Michael John says a fine answer, sir. Thomas says, Jamie.
Yeah, Thomas says, what's your favorite genre, and do you have a favorite movie?
So we, as part of our course, we get taught that there is no such thing as genre. That there are different kinds of stories, but any story is based on the journey of them characters. So things like the hero's journey and things like that, or there's two opposing forces trying to get the same goal, or anything like that. But I think it's just like music. It's like I can't pick one. There isn't any. It all depends on what kind of mood I'm in. There isn't really a genre of film that I don't like. There might be more films in, for example, horror than comedy that I like, just because of my personal tastes. But I don't think I'd be able to choose one. They're also, like I say, it depends on what, because pick me on any different day and I'll give you a different answer. But I think that's the same for everyone.
Okay, now we had Hbo McNeil wanted to know,
what is your favorite sci-fi movie and why?
Favorite sci-fi movie? So I'm probably going to get a lot of stick for this, not for my choice, but because realistically, it's ridiculous as a screenwriter, the story. But I had never seen Blade Runner as a film student until I was 27, so 4 years ago. And then it came out in the cinema to watch on like big screen. And I thought, as a film student, I wasn't a film student then, but as a movie buff, and everyone knows me as the kind of the guy that knows everything about every film that I've ever seen. I thought I can't have never seen Blade Runner. So I went without any expectations, realistically. Like, I knew about it. I knew it was Harrison Ford. And seeing it on the big screen, it blew my mind. Like, I walked out of that cinema just being like, what have I been doing for the past 27 years of my life? And I just couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe no one had, like, obviously people had told me about it, but I was like, why didn't you just strap me to a chair and force me to watch this when I was like 7? I don't understand it. But yeah, so that and 2049, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. The music, the soundtrack, like, for both of the films is just phenomenal. Like, I listen to that whilst I write a lot, because it just relaxes me. I think, and I like the fact that you don't know, although because it was only the final cut, I've seen the final cut in the cinema, and I've seen the first 5 minutes of the theatrical cut, because I saw that it was on our like version of Sky Movies, but I didn't realize that it was a theatrical version because I'd not worked out that there were more than one. So I put it on, and then as soon as I heard Harrison Ford's voiceover in the theatrical version, I switched it off instantly because I was like, I can't listen to that. But yeah, it's just one of the best films of all time, regardless of sci-fi.
Okay. And now Matches Malone, Batman himself, has a question. Jamie, you want to read it?
Yeah. Hi, Matches.
Yes,
do you
I know.
have any
Hello, sir.
actors or actresses in mind when you write a screenplay to portray the characters in your story?
A lot of people don't. I do, purely because it helps me picture the character more. It's difficult as well because I direct theatre, and it's really like people say that you don't precast, but it's impossible to read a screenplay and not think, especially if you know the people that you're kind of taking from. For me anyway, it's impossible to not think, oh well, that would be that sort of character. So my feature that I've written about a cult, the wife in my head is Zooey Deschanel. Like if anybody else plays that role, I'm sure they'll be wonderful if anyone's watching this retrospectively. But yeah, it's a funny one because a lot of people say they don't, but I think everybody has to.
All right. Any other questions before we move on? Because we did have one question from Kevin, and I did not throw it up on the screen, and that is the subject for tonight. So before we wrap up with Joe, do you want to hang around while we get to some other topics?
Yeah, I'll hang around for a bit.
Oh, wait, we got one more quick question. Hold on. Let's see, from Tom.
Want me to read it, or are you reading it?
Yeah, go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
All right. What types of writing styles do you feel help a piece stand out more versus people just copying an industry standard?
Okay, this is the question that people ask a lot, because the automatic thing is people want to be different because they want to be noticed. And I completely get that. What we're taught at university is to get in the door, you need to have an industry standard. What is going to set you apart is the story behind it. So a lot of people kind of mess with the format, and there are a lot of directors as well, because you get told read a load of screenplays, but you're reading screenplays of people that are already in the business and can afford to kind of bend the rules. But we're taught to get in the door, you have to stick to the standard, do everything by the books, and you get in the door and have your writing be the thing that stands out. Make sure that you're telling something that you are passionate in and that you feel that there is something. Like, don't just write something because you think this is what they want, because you're never going to be able to guess what they want. What they want is an original voice. And if you're not being that original voice, then you're not going to get through the door. So write for yourself. Make sure that it's something that you feel passionate about and that you think this about it has this never been told before? Because if it's been told a million times before, then why are we telling it?
Okay. And we have another question from Nicole.
Nicole says, if one of your newer screenplays was to become a full-length movie, would you want it live, animated, or stop motion?
Oh, wow. I've never thought about anything other than having it live, I guess. My fiance would go absolutely crazy if I wrote an animated film, because she only really watches Disney. But I've like she's literally obsessed, to the point that she's got me obsessed now. That I'm currently wearing Donald Duck and Mickey, I think. But I think it'd be interesting to write something animated, because there are some absolutely gorgeous animated films out there, like things like WALL-E. The first half of WALL-E is incredible.
Yep.
And I've never really thought about animated as as a thing, maybe that might be something that I can take away from this and say, if I was to write an animated film, I don't think any of it, because she doesn't like any of my screenplays because, as she says, they all die in the end, and it's all just kind of depressing. I don't think it necessarily, like, the best note I've ever got from her was, she got to the end and she was like, nobody died in this one. And I was like, yeah, like that was the best thing that she could say about it. She keeps me grounded. But yeah, maybe I'd write something different for animated in that instance.
All right. Before we move on, where can people find you online? Just in case we don't get to it at the end of the show, where can people find you online if they want to send you something to read, or if they just want to catch up with you? Where can they find you on social media, and where can they find your stuff?
I'm on Twitter at KirkwoodJoe89. I'm also on Instagram as my podcast. We've just started a film review podcast with a couple of my friends from university. Let me check what the @ is for that. I think it's Clapperboard Climax. Yeah, at Clapperboard Climax. You should be able to find it from that. We do a mix of good and bad films. So the first one was Back to the Future last week. And then this week was Two-Headed Shark Attack. You can guess which one the bad one was. That has Brooke Hogan in it. But yeah, so there's a new podcast every Sunday. Me and a few screenwriter friends. So yeah, I think Twitter's probably going to be the easiest because you get me directly. All right. Yeah, feel free to send anything through. I'm happy to give people advice.
Awesome. All right. So Jamie, are we going to do question of the week, or do you want to get right into it? What do you think, Joe? Should we get right into it, or should we do question of the week first? What you are our guest, so what do you want to do? You want to hang out, or do you want to go to sleep?
Pressure.
Or do you want to go to sleep? It's up to you. What do you want to do?
No, let's do question of the week.
You want to do question? All right. Question of the week. And let's see what this week's question is.
It is now time for the Angrygeeks question of the week. What do you fear during a con? That's the question of the week.
Did you say, what do you fear during a con? That was like the worst noise of voice.
Yeah, the video. Yeah, we're having trouble playing our videos. What do you fear during a con? That is the question of the week.
Didn't we already have this one?
No, we didn't. We did not already have that question. We had something about a convention, but what do you fear during a con? And Grimlock Stonehammer says Care Bears.
I don't think I've ever seen a Care Bear at a con.
And Michael John says Lewis fears snakes. No, it's alligators. Thank you,
Alligators.
Thomas.
I'll tell you what I fear at a con.
And hold on, Michael J says costume malfunctions. Hbo McNeil says body odor.
That's one of mine.
And hold on. Wow, guys. And Nicole says, someone coming up to me and trying to touch me or hug me without knowing. I do that all the time when you back away from me.
She says, and not knowing them.
Oh, okay. But she's still all right. And Tom, okay, hold on. Brian says not getting to meet the guest that he wants to meet. And Tom Novak says, seriously, long lines at the bathroom. And Corey Lanchester says having to pee wearing spandex.
I can tell you, like when I'm Hela and Catwoman, going to the bathroom is the absolute worst thing ever. Period. It is.
I'm trying to. I was with you at cons wearing those. I'm trying to remember if you had to. like dancing around. Thomas says
Oh,
potentially
because I just try not to
terrible
eat or
coffee.
drink, so I don't have to go to the
True,
bathroom.
yeah, that's or lack of coffee. Wow. Grimlock says that the con being canceled. Oh, yes. And happy birthday, Brian Rose. Yes, happy birthday.
Oh, happy
And
birthday.
Match,
Happy birthday, Brian.
yes, happy birthday. Matcha says walking around a con in full costume but no cowl. For you, yes.
I've never even seen Matches without a cowl, so I mean,
Really?
even when he's not in costume, he would have it on.
Well, he came to my wedding wearing the cowl. I was the only guy in the world, Joe, that had Batman at his wedding. It was
Brilliant.
And Kevin says people invading your own space. Yes. And so, Jamie, what do you fear at a con?
Your effing pants.
What? Oh, why don't you explain to Joe about my let me ask.
He wears the worst jeans I've ever seen in my life. They are horrible. Every single
And they're
time.
like, I imagine now they're like skinny jeans.
No.
Like
What we call drain
ripped.
pipes.
They're like ripped and rhinestones, and I don't even know. Like
I
where
am
he
an
even finds
80s.
things.
I am an
a
80s.
cosplayer, or is it?
No, she's the
No, that's just-
cosplayer. I'm
Just
the
your
cool
I'm
guy.
the
jeans. It's
That's-
just the
that's-
jeans.
No, yeah, they're just really bad. Like we'll be in a hotel, and I just look at him, and I'm like, no, Lou.
Could he
no.
cosplay Christina Aguilera in the music video to Dirty? That's what I'm imagining now.
I mean,
I
not far off.
Gridlock says he's got shinies on his jeans. Acid wash bedazzle.
Yes, Kevin, that is exactly what
Kevin,
it
that's a good one. I like that one. Wait, and Gridlock says, wait, who said you are the cool guy? And Tom says, Tom lives the jeans. Lewis owns the only remaining pair of acid wash jeans. Yes, I pretty much do. And oh wait, Grimlock once again comes back saying ugly jeans.
No, that's what I'm scared of.
You know what else? You know what else I fear?
What?
Is when he asks me to make him a waffle and he puts ketchup on it.
Yeah, it's good. What?
No. And ketchup
I adore
and
ketchup.
maple syrup.
No.
On a waffle? No.
Yes, it's good. It's good.
Oh.
We sit down for breakfast, and she gets up to Jamie. Can you make me a waffle? So she makes me a waffle, and we sit down, and I put you got to put the butter
and then
on.
He goes, no. He says, "Oh wait, there's no ketchup." And I'm like, "What? What do you need ketchup for?"
Oh man, we still can't believe that you guys put bacon with pancakes. Like already, that's like that was like a thing when I was a kid. That I think I remember someone telling me, "Oh, we're gonna have bacon with our pancakes," and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What else?
And it's it's the weirdest thing because we don't mix sweet with savory. That's the thing. Like, and our pancakes are very different. Our are more like crepes than your guys' kind of thick pancakes.
And Tom Novak says, Jamie, someone needs to take away Lewis's bedazzler gun.
If he didn't live 2 hours away, I would do it.
The newest pair of pants are going to look like Jim Morrison's. That's yeah. Yeah, it's John Morrison's. Yeah. So anyway, what do I fear at a con? Being late for one of our panels. I'm always worried about that. Having a celebrity backstage or being late for our own show at the con. I'm always worried about that.
I feel like people would think that that's part of our show, though. Like if we were late.
Maybe. Anyway, King Kong versus Godzilla. Big movie came out this past week. One of the questions, Kevin wanted to know how we felt about that. And questions are still coming in about the ketchup and the jeans. And no, we're over that now. It says we have Michael J says
that is a great idea, though.
Oh, you should see. Jamie did not see the newest pair of jeans that were bought for me. Or did you? Did you get a picture of the newest pair? I think you did.
All the shiny stuff that you were.
No, not the shiny stuff. Not the shiny stuff. I will have to. All right, I have to send you a
we're
text
talking about
later.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes, we're talking about King Kong versus Godzilla. That's what we're talking about right now. Let's ask Jamie the most important question, and Joseph is going to say, what in the hell are you guys talking about? Jamie, did you cry?
Yes, I did.
That means the movie was good. Yes. All right. That's all we needed to know. All right. All right. Joe, what did you think? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I was hoping that the cinemas were going to reopen and I could go and see it properly, but no, I've unfortunately not seen it yet. I've heard very good things though.
Okay. Do you want us to? You want to mute our mics?
Don't worry about spoilers. I get things spoiled for me all the time. It's not a problem.
Okay, I watched. So it's a chick flick. That's what Grimlock says. No,
I don't watch.
Hbo McNeil says Godzilla all the way. Let me just say that if Kong didn't hurt his shoulder, that's all I'm gonna say right there, because we all know who saved the day at the end of the movie. I thought it was fabulous, and to be honest with you, Rose absolutely loved it as well. And we all know Rose and I live in Rose is my wife, Joe. We live in two separate worlds. And she sat there and watched it with me Thursday night, and she absolutely loved it. And no, she just did not say that because I watched it with her. She actually liked it, and she said that she would watch it again.
So good.
I watched that fight scene twice at the end fight scene, and whoa, Kevin says somewhat of a letdown. Kevin!
See, Kevin and I didn't get to talk about it at work today because I was really angry. And I left early.
Why were you? Oh, never mind. Well, you are an angry geek.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
No. I thought special effects were great. I thought Kong's facial expressions were fantastic. The version of Kong that they had, especially with the little girl, was fabulous. That what they did to Kong was fantastic. The only thing I didn't like was the whole Hollow Earth thing. I wish they still called it Monster Island and with Skull Island. But I really thought it was cool. I love the homage of the helicopters carrying Kong away. And I did like how they said round 2 goes to Kong in the movie. I thought it was just, it blew me away. Mecha Godzilla looked kind of weird, but he looked a hell of a lot better than he did in 1969. I loved it. I was just blown away by the whole thing. Jamie, what do you think?
I was the same. I didn't. It flowed really well, you know, and it didn't have any of those spots where I was like, okay, I'm bored. But I just loved it. Just visually, I loved the little girl so much. King Kong was awesome. Godzilla was awesome. I loved how it ended. Like, it was just, to me, it was my kind of movie. So, you know, it had its things, but I'm not even going to nitpick it because I loved it.
Yep. I loved the sign language thing with Coward.
Yep.
And Alexander Sasgar
going. That was one of the parts I cried on.
When he said, "You are, brave," and he did the sign language for Coward. And she goes, "Yeah, I know that's you." It was hilarious. I thought the characters were very well put together for the movie as what it was. Billy Bobby Brown, I kind of thought she was out of place, but I understood, and I really liked it how they told Kong, Godzilla's not the enemy. And when she pointed and said, "That's the enemy," I liked it. And I loved how the two Titans showed each other respect.
Right.
I
did too.
dug it.
I thought that was really cool.
I mean, I certainly I dug it a lot. I'm hoping that we are going to get the sequel that they're talking about already, because it made a lot of money in the cinemas. Not only a lot of not
There's
downloads,
still no movies
but
open
views.
by me.
It's playing,
open up here.
It's playing in the theaters around here. But of course, I watched that on HBO Max. The views on HBO Max, I guess, are through the roof. It did beat the Justice League. And it did beat actually Wonder Woman 84 for clicks and in views on HBO Max.
Yeah,
I think it's a wonderful film. It's great popcorn. It's great for the entire family. Super exciting. A couple F-bombs, I think 1 or 2 for a rated PG-13 film. But
they probably hear worse from school these days anyway.
Yeah, probably.
If they go to school.
I thought it was really well done, especially being a child of the 70s, and growing up with the original when King Kong's hiding behind the rock and throwing rocks at King Kong. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining, and just Kong at the end was just fantastic. I loved it, and actually I jumped at that one point when they were at when they first entered Hollow Earth, when the 2 anti-gravity cars were going,
when the gravity shifted, kind of thing.
Yeah, and
that was
before Kong had to do what he did. I don't want to wreck it.
Yeah. You already
for Joe.
Said half.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's something happens and a creature jumps out. Well, a creature jumps out and it scared the crap out of me. I jumped a little bit, but it was really good. Yeah. It was a great movie. Special effects were awesome. I'm gonna give it a solid 4 Angry Geek shields. How many are you gonna give it?
I'm saying 4 too.
4. Well, look at that. This is recommended. Yeah. Joe, HBO Max. You got to get it if you don't have it. Get it. Watch it.
We don't get it over here.
I was going to say, I don't think they get it there.
Yeah, we don't get it. So we were able to get Justice League as part of like Sky, which is like our kind of TV here, basically.
Okay.
But I don't even know where I can find it to be able to watch it yet.
So you're gonna have to
hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Like, even if because that's the thing, we're still in complete lockdown. That's why I look like this. Like, I've not been able to have my hair cut since before Christmas. And so I don't know when the cinemas are going to completely reopen. So, well, I'm sure I'll be able to find it online, but I'd rather kind of pay for it. And
can't say that.
It's one of those things, like, if they do open any of the theaters up here and I get to go, I would like to re-see it on the big screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that, the sound, like I have surround sound at home, but it's not the same.
Oh, no.
So, I would definitely, it's one of the ones I would definitely go see.
Yeah, I think so. I would do that. That's why I had to go see Wonder Woman on the big screen. Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. Even though I had HBO Max, I did not. I watched it again on HBO Max, but I had to go see that because it was Wonder Woman. I had to go see it on the big screen. If the Snyder Cut was on the big screen, I would have went to see it on the big screen as well. But my weekend was kind of tied up with the Easter holiday, and I was in the movie theater this past weekend. I went and saw a retro film. I saw The Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And believe it or not,
Incredible
it was the first. Film. Oh, it was. And to see it once again on the big screen was fantastic. And it was my wife's first time seeing it ever.
Oh,
what?
Wow.
Yeah, Rose never seen The Lost. Really?
I love things like that. My not last year, the year before, my fiance, she's never seen films. Like she'd not seen Back to the Future until a few months ago.
Oh my god!
And she's like 32. I don't understand it. But I said that about Blade Runner, so I can't really say anything. But they did Cineworlds around our kind of area. did old horror films, but they did Beetlejuice, and and she'd never seen Beetlejuice, so we went to see it at the cinema, and I was like we'd only been dating for like a few months, and I was like, this is like the moment that if you don't like this film, then we might as well just stop it here. But I couldn't, because I'd never seen it in the big screen. When you rewatch it, listen to the sound design of that film. It's outstanding. Not just the soundtrack, because obviously it's Danny Elfman, but the sound design is gorgeous. It just creates that atmosphere. It's just incredible. Like, it blew me away, and thankfully she liked it. We're getting married next year, so I blame Beetlejuice.
You blame Beetlejuice? Yeah, Tom, I agree. Tom Novak says, "Isn't it ironic? People love the Lost Boys, yet loathe Batman and Robin." It's the Schumacher curse, man. I totally agree. Batman and Robin sucked. Batman Forever was, it was riding down that curb, but the Lost Boys was fantastic. And I'm thinking the Lost Boys was the way it was because Schumacher was on a tight leash with Joel Schumacher, and I mean with Richard Donner, and that's why Batman Forever really wasn't that much out of whack, because Tim Burton was still kind of holding that leash on Schumacher. But once Batman and Robin came along, they let him off the chain, and we had what we had. So I
actually think it's the opposite, personally.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember loving that film as a kid, but that's because I was a kid and I was like 7, and it was just like explosions and Arnold Schwarzenegger. But then, like, I watched it back, and essentially, it's a 2-hour or however long it is toy commercial, and I think that was the problem, is he was constrained to what the studio wanted to be able to for all of the merchandise. So then you kind of have to make everything look a bit toy related, because otherwise it doesn't match up. And especially because I forgot until just you mentioned it that it was the same director as the Lost Boys, because they're on completely different, like, they're not even playing the same sport, let alone different league. Okay. But yeah, I think it was studio made, that, if I'm honest.
Okay. Tom says no, Burton walked away before Forever went into production. I thought he was an executive producer. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I was pretty sure he was an executive producer. But again, if I'm wrong, I apologize. But seeing the Lost Boys again was absolutely fantastic. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Joe, do you guys have the Disney Plus network over there?
Yeah. We
of course you do.
Thank God. It came out in our last year, and it was a godsend, because it came out the day that the UK went into lockdown last year. Oh. Literally the day, and my missus was like, "Oh, thank God for that." Like, we wouldn't have been able to survive without it.
Okay. Before we start talking Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we are running out of time, Jamie, it's now your time. WandaVision. We all talked about it, and you finally watched it.
What I did, and it's good. I have questions. Where is the other Vision? Like
the White Vision? Okay.
Yes. And I liked it, but it wasn't. It's just not my kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I just like Falcon. It's not bad. I mean, it's not Falcon Winter Soldier. I love that.
Okay. All right. So let's get into Falcon in the Winter Soldier. I am digging it. I'm loving it. Walker's colors are starting to show. As we all know, he is starting to be the dick that we all know. Ooh, sorry, bad word. We all know that he is starting to be that way. If you read the comics, Tom Novak knows what I'm talking about. You know how bad John Walker can be. And
but you
when
can kind of pick up on that even in the first episode. Like there's like these subtle hints where you know this, even if you didn't read it, you know this is coming.
Yep. And when he said to that one guy, "Do you know who I am?" and the guy spit on him, I am digging it. I can't wait for Fridays. I am just sad it's only a 6-episode run. I'm hoping it's going to end with a bang. Joe, are you watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying, that I enjoyed WandaVision. I think it was a breath of fresh air from the start in terms of the style, but you can't beat Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's just, like you say, like I haven't read that many comics, so I don't know anything other than the films, but you can tell just from film knowledge that there's something not quite right there.
Yeah.
And it's I'm looking forward to it on Friday, definitely.
I'm so in it right now. Like I very rarely, like Lou will tell you, I'm really bad with my homework, he calls it. And this is the show I am like, I'm not going to see the horse on Fridays. I'm watching this show. Like it has taken Jack's time. So
well, I tell you, Tom, I'm hearing rumors that Omega Red is supposed to be in this show, and I'm hoping it. And my brother from another mother, the one and only Jack Purcell, my other co-host, is saying loving Falcon and the Winter Soldier and all the new characters. I'm loving it, and I loved Baron Zemo actually putting on part of the costume. My God, they're killing it. Okay, Marvel is they're Disney rather is killing it with the costumes on television. I am so digging it. I can't wait. And Thomas says Sharon is either a power broker working with a power broker, potentially undercover. I also think we are getting Zola. It's quite possible. And Tom said that's been a rumor for a year. LOL. Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I cannot wait to see the mutants. We gotta see the X-Men. We gotta see the mutants in the MCU. We have to. I mean, we have to. We have to see the mutants. Okay, just bring them in already. And yes, I know. I have 3 copies. Tom says his first appearance, meaning Omega Red, skyrocket to over $300 for a 9.8 graded copy. And I found my second copy at a flea market for $1. Joe, please, we're going to let you go to bed because we're about that time.
Thank you.
Please, once again, tell everyone where they can find you once again online. And if they want to come to you and say, please, sir, read my screenplay, where can they find you?
So at Kirkwood Joe 89 on Twitter, or on Instagram. Clapperboard Climax is my podcast, which is every Sunday. There are new episodes, so check us out. Messages, we're all nice and friendly. Weirdly, one of the guys is from Leicester. From things. So yeah. We're all linked somehow.
It's such a big, small world.
Yeah.
Jamie, where can people find you and I every week?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Angry Geeks, or on our website at theangrygeekshow.com. I'm at thatwonderwoman.1 everywhere.
And I'm Louis Perry. You can find me right here every week with this person, that Wonder Woman, Jamie Dolan, on the Angry Geek Show, as we stream live for you every Monday night at 7 o'clock. And then on your public access television show, you can find me every Tuesday night on the Faces and Heels podcast with Jack Purcell from DC Comics, and every Friday night on the Today Show with DW, where I go over what I find when I'm out hunting for collectibles. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Please share, please like, and send this guy some of your screenplays. You never know. You guys can collaborate in something and become famous and write something really cool. Right on. See you guys next week. You write the next Batman film or the next Angry Geek screenplay. You never know until you try. Don't give up. Stay classy. See ya.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.